Hey everyone, it's Brandie and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing the back to school book tag. I was tagged by two people actually. I'm glad I watched other videos or I wouldn't realize I was tagged by another person. But anyway, I was tagged by Lauren from the novel Lush and Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany. And this tag was originally created by Amanda from The Naughty Librarian. So I will link all three of their videos down in the description if you guys are interested in checking those out. There are 8 questions and I'm just going to jump right into it. So the first one is new school year, the start of something new. Pick an awesome debut novel. For this one, I'm going to go with The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. If you haven't heard about it, this is a novel told in verse. I just thought this was amazing, and if you I think this is a book that everyone should read, and if you aren't the biggest fan of reading books in verse, I would definitely suggest checking out the audiobook for this one, because the author reads her own book. This reads as if it's meant to be spoken, and because she reads her own audiobook, she's able to give the inflections and all the emphasis on the parts that need it, and she's able to voice it how she wants it heard. And I think that was the best experience ever. I mentioned that I already want to reread this and annotate it. I haven't gotten around to that one yet, but that is definitely something I want to do. And there were poems in here, or certain chapters, I guess you could call them poems, but there were certain ones that I felt like related to my life in particular. And this book was just amazing. I'm gushing about it over and over. If you haven't read this one, go read it because it is amazing. And like I said before, this is something I feel like everyone should read. It's something that everyone can learn from, no matter who you are, no matter what your background is. This is beautiful. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I think this might be my favorite book of the year so far. So yeah. Number 2 is teachers. They're there to teach and guide you. Pick a character that is full of sage-like wisdom. And believe it or not, I feel like this was the hardest one for me to find an answer for. And I think I might be cheating a little bit with this one. But anyway, I decided to go with the serial from the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. And I said that it might be a little cheaty because the serial kind of gives advice because it has background information, or is able to see into the future depending on how things are working out. So as things change, what it sees changes as well. But the serial gives the main character in the series, Feyre, lots of advice throughout the entire series actually. Number 3 is favorite subject. Everyone has that one class that's their favorite. Recommend a book from your favorite genre. So in school, it kind of changed up a bit. At first, my favorite subject used to be math, because I felt like there was always a right answer, and I liked figuring out that right answer. But as time progressed, my favorite subject changed from math to like English, when I started actually reading books that I enjoyed in class when I actually read them, because I didn't always read the books. It's kind of a lazy student, but we're gonna just skip past that. Anyway, for this one, I'm gonna say my favorite genre is romance. No matter what I'm reading, I usually like if there is some type of romance in that novel. Not always, but I do appreciate a good romance. And for this one, I decided to give 2 answers instead of 1. So I'm going to do a new adult romance and an adult romance, because I feel like 2 of these books I think a lot of people should read, depending, like if you like romance and if you like it like new adult or adult, I feel like both of these would be good options for you. Anyway, I feel like I'm just rambling. Anyway, sorry. For my new adult pick, I'm going to go with Jock Row by Shanae. I don't have a physical copy of this one. I do want to get a physical copy because I think this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, new adult romance that I have ever read. This one follows this girl who she's in college. She has these friends that like to go out. She's not necessarily the going out type, but every now and then she will go out with her friends, and she's basically there to make sure that they don't go sleeping around with everyone, or make sure they don't do anything too crazy because they're drunk. And her friends like going out to the parties held at the different jock houses, or so basketball team, football team, baseball team, that type of stuff. I think this one focuses on characters from the baseball team, or the main male character is from the baseball team. But one time she goes out to this party with her friends, and it's at one of the apartments for the baseball, or one of the houses or whatever for the baseball players, and she's doing what she normally does for her friends, and some guys aren't really happy about what she's doing, so they go get their captain, and basically the captain kicks her out the house. And and she decides not to leave. She's like, I'm not going anywhere until I wait on my friends. And he ends up actually sitting out with her the entire time she was waiting on her friends, because of course she had crappy friends, and her friends didn't leave right away. They stayed for like a good 2-3 hours after she had got kicked out. So he sat out there with her, and that kind of led from one thing to another, and like this continued to happen. They ended up starting a friendship, and that friendship led to more. And this was just, like I said, it was so different from any other new adult romance that I have ever read, that I just really enjoyed it. Their relationship was really, I don't want to say pure, that's not the right word, but it was really honest and open, and nothing felt rushed. And I really enjoyed the story. If you can't tell, I don't know how long I've been talking about it, but I really enjoyed this. And if you're hesitant about trying out new adult, because most of them are pretty much the same, I still do pretty much enjoy them. I usually give them 3 stars, but this one I thought was really good. I gave it a 4 stars, but I'm thinking, the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, I feel like I should probably bump it up to 5 stars. But I do want to reread it before I do that for sure. But this was definitely, like I said, a good new adult romance if you guys are interested. Also, I said I had another one. This one is my adult romance pick, and this one is probably a book that everyone is talking about this year, but that is The Kids Quotient by Helen Huang. I still need to get me a finished copy. This is the arc that I won through Goodreads, but this book, if you guys haven't heard, which I would be really surprised, because everyone on BookTube has been talking about this book, or pretty much everyone. This follows a character named Stella. She is in her 30s, I believe, but she has Asperger's, and she feels like at her age she should be in a romantic relationship and thinking about starting a family, but because she has Asperger's, she is really opposed to any type of physical contact, especially in a romantic way. I think she mentioned that she thought that kissing or making out looked like two sharks attacking each other or something. It was kind of funny. It was like something similar to that. So she ends up hiring this male escort to help her get over her opposition to being romantically involved, like physically romantic with or physically intimate, I guess that's the best way to say that, with someone. So she hires this guy who, I think his name is Michael Fawn, and he pretty much helps her out with that. But as you can expect within a romance novel, it leads to more than that. This book was just so much fun, but also really had those steamy, sexy moments that I personally like in romance novels. I definitely wasn't expecting it when I went into it, because it doesn't seem like it would be have those sexy, okay, I'm not gonna say it doesn't seem like it would have those sexy moments, but because of this cover, it didn't seem like those moments would be as graphic or as descriptive as they were, but they were, and I really enjoyed it. This book was just so good, and it was just so well done. So I just rambled on. So let's move on to the next one, which is 4, and that is Syllabus, the basic layout for everything that's going to happen this semester. Pick a book that was predictable. And for this one, I am going to go with The Wicked Deep by Shanae Earnshaw. I briefly talked about this one after I had read it, but I feel like I haven't really mentioned it since then. There was one part that I mentioned that I wasn't fully expecting to happen, which was part of towards the end. But for the most part, I saw everything in this novel coming, and it was just one that I wasn't the biggest fan of, and I think mostly because I could tell or I guess everything that was going to happen. 5 is pencils. I know I was supposed to be taking notes, but mainly I would just draw. Pick a character who's an artist, and this one might be slightly not exactly what you would be expecting, but I have another adult romance novel, and for this one I'm going to go with the character Liam from Marked by Drew Elise. This was a book that I had read for review, and I was having the hardest time finding a book that deals with a character who was an artist. I guess I could have picked Feyre from the Court of Thorns and Rose series, but I wasn't really thinking about that at the time. I picked Liam because he is a tattoo artist in this story. I felt like that fit perfectly. He also does art, like different type. I think he also paints on the side as well, but mainly he focuses on being a tattoo artist, which requires other additional artistic skills because he has to draw everything out beforehand and get approval and all of that stuff. But yes, I think this is a good pick and something different from what anyone else would probably pick, because I don't think anyone, at least that I watch, has read this book. 6 is books. You know, the things that have all the knowledge in them. What book are you currently reading? So at the time of filming this, we are currently on day 2 of Contemporary-a-thon. This will be going up on day 5, but I am currently reading Stripped by Zoe Castile. 7 is Backpack. I used to cram entirely too much stuff in mine, and I did this back at school. I still do this now. If you guys could see my bag, because I take an actual backpack to work with me every day. If you guys could see how much stuff I put in my bag every day, I'm probably going to have back problems when I get older. But until then, I will probably continue to carry that much stuff around. But anyway, for this one, you have to pick a book that had entirely too much crammed into it. So for this one, I'm going to go with The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. This was another book that I just wasn't a fan of. And like the prompt says, this one had a little bit too much going on. This was another one I kind of had a hard time coming up with an answer for, because I was mainly trying to pick books from this year, but I couldn't really think of anything like off the top of my head that I was just like, this one had too much besides this one. So we're dealing with this main character. Her name is Alice, and I'm sure you guys have probably heard of this already, but she is with her mom, and they have been constantly moving from place to place. And I think at the beginning of the story, her mother is finally starting to settle down, but not far into the book, her mother ends up going missing, and she finds out that she has possibly been kidnapped, and then she thinks that there is a connection with her grandmother possibly, and then there is like characters from this fairy tale book that her grandmother wrote a long time ago. There's these characters that somehow get involved, and they're like coming after her, and then she ends up going off to find her mother, and she gets sucked into this fairy world, and then it's like back in the real world. It sounds confusing. It's probably not as confusing as I'm making it sound if you actually read it, but there was just a lot going on. And I know a lot of people like this, or maybe not a lot. I don't know. I didn't really like this. I probably should have DNF'd it, but I didn't. And it was a lot. It was too much for me, and it's not one I would recommend. We're just gonna leave it at that. And number 8 is School Friends. Tag some people to do this tag. And this is another thing. I always have a really hard time tagging people, because I watch quite a few people, but I feel like most of the people that I watch, either I don't know if they watch my channel, or like I don't know if they would actually do a tag video. But I was able to come up with 3 people that I could tag, and I may be able to come up with more by the time I post this video. If so, I will leave them down in the description box, so you guys could definitely check that out. But the 3 people that I figured out who to tag for at the moment was First, we have Ashley from the channel Bookish Realm. And we also have Brandie from Books with Brandie Shanae. And then we also have Melanie from Mel to the Any. She doesn't have a YouTube channel. She says she might be making one, hopefully one day. But she has a blog. I know for sure that she watches my videos, so I'm not sure when she'll see this, but I know Ashley and Melanie both have Twitter, so I will let them know on Twitter that they're tagged. Also, Brandie, I'm pretty sure you said in the video that you don't have Twitter. I don't know if you have Instagram, but you are tagged as well. As far as everyone else, like I said, I don't know. I feel like the other few people that I would have tagged, actually they both tagged me in this video, and then the other couple people, they have already been tagged by other people as well. So yeah, there's no point in re-tagging them. So yeah, if I did not mention you and you would like to do this tag, please feel free to do the tag and let me know in the comments that you did it, and I will definitely go check out your video. But that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know what you thought about my answer to these prompts down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye.